As we get started, if you have any questions, please feel free to just put them in the chat box and we'll get to the questions when we are able to. Stacy is here, Doug is here. Hello, hello. Chris is here. Hi, Chris. Glad you made it. We're going to wait just another moment or so just to make sure everyone who wants to participate is able to get in and get their audio connected. Greg, how was your Halloween? Did you go trick-or-treating?
I turned my lights off and drank whiskey on my couch, and it was fantastic.
That sounds wonderful. Good for
And I'm just a
you.
grumpy old so-and-so.
Oh, that's okay. We still like you. We still think
Thanks.
you're great.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm. All right, we just have a couple more people jumping in here. All right, so I think we're just going to go ahead, just to honor everyone's time this morning, go ahead and get started. So Eric, whenever you're ready, just go ahead and start. Hi, it's good to see you. And if I could have everyone else, please mute yourselves and we'll just go ahead and begin.
Thanks, Nikki. Thanks for letting me join you all today and share with you the storefront that we're putting together for all of you. I'll shut my video off here in just a moment, but I wanted to kind of give you an idea who you were talking to, but I won't subject you to it for any longer than you need to, or than we need to. But let me just start a little bit about who I am. My name is Eric Stewart. I work with Xpressdocs and have been with them for a little over 5 years. Before that, I was with the company that Xpressdocs purchased and was with them for 12 or 13 years. So been kind of working in this business for a while. I have a family here. I live in Minnesota. So yes, we're still expecting, or we're expecting some snow in the next couple of days here already. But that's me, and you'll probably hear more. You'll probably know more about me with my little side comments as we go through the rest of the presentation today. So I'll stop there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop my camera here, and then I'm going to bring in and start to share my screen. So if I can have that, I will. Okay, can you see my screen? Everybody? Yes, all right, good. And if I ask me a question or something in the chat and I miss it, I will come back to it. As I'm getting older, I'm less able to multitask, it seems. So I get distracted a lot more easily, which my kids know. This is going to be the landing page for the new storefront that we're creating for you. Right, we're still tweaking it. We're still working on it. It's not quite ready to roll out to you to start using, but it is at a point where we can share it with you, hopefully get you excited. And let's see here, I can distracted too easily. But give you a chance to take a look at it and get excited about it and, you know, kind of anxiously await when we can roll it out to you all and work with you to get it up and running. So now the way you're going to access this site is you're going to access it through your NPD Office dashboard. And I apologize, Nikki, do you know where that's going to live, where that link is going to live?
I believe it's going to be under our partners page.
Okay, so hopefully that means something to the rest of you, but we can always make sure that we clarify that in the future if needed. So you'll access it from your the NPD Office dashboard, which means when you link to our site, you'll already be logged in as to your account. I'm using a demo account here. today. And in the upper right corner, you can see that as if I had logged in and passed through, it would be your name in this upper right corner and your office name right there that you're associated with. So that should be the first clue that everything is going the way it's supposed to. You may not see your headshot right away until it's been loaded for your profile, but you'll see your name. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a list of all the existing agents and we're going to create the accounts for you so that they're there and you can pass through and they should be there. For any of you who work in a kind of an administrative capacity at any of the offices, kind of the way this works is that normally a new user, a new agent, so you bring somebody into your team and they get set up on the NPD office dashboard, but they won't have an account on Xpressdocs until they actually link through and link that first time they link through to us. And then that single sign-on process will create the account for that agent. And at that point, they'll pass through, it'll set up the account for them, associate it. But up until that point, that account doesn't exist on our site because we're not talking back and forth with your site to set up and disable user accounts. Now we are doing some back and forth when we look at some listings information and such like that, but I'll talk about that in just a little bit. By the way, I should let you know that I'm going to be talking fast because I have a lot that I want to share with you and not a lot of time. I was sitting down to put together, a nice little PowerPoint presentation, but I thought there's just not going to be even time for us to click through a PowerPoint because I want to make sure that I have a chance to, even at a high level, share with you everything that's on our site here. So if I've logged into the NPD office and linked over to the Xpressdocs and I'm in my account on Xpressdocs, if this is the first time you're doing it, here's some of the things you're going to want to make sure that you see on this landing page. You're going to see all of the different types of products that are going to be available, and they're broken into categories, and then they kind of break down into subcategories, and then you can link in there or click in there rather, and you'll be able to see the different products. Also up here in the upper right hand corner, as I mentioned before, is kind of like the administrative part or the settings, if you will, settings. So here's our settings. And the one I want to take a look at right away. So the first time you log in, head over to your profile and take a look at that and make sure that everything looks correct. It should, because it's pulling the information directly from your company system and it's dropping it in here. So what it does is it's going to give us some general information. That general information is just the basic, usually it's just a name, phone, and email address. That's what we need in order to actually just set up an account within Xpressdocs. The user contact information, this is the information that is saved. And this is what you can save as far as what you want to default in on your products when you're placing orders. So this is a time saver right here. This allows you to kind of set it up and allows you to, tweak. Like here, I've got the phone number. So most of the products, maybe I want both phone numbers. And then I also want to make sure that I designate them mobile and office or something like that. So I went into here and edited this because when I first linked in here, it only had my one phone number. So I added the second phone number. I also made sure that this was all correct. Some people like to change their email address and make it an uppercase J. Now, of course, keep in mind anything that is identity standards or guidelines, if you're not going to want to violate those, but you just want to make sure that it all is accurate. The rest of the profile, just to kind of give you an idea, if you do make changes, make sure you click on save. Shipping address. First time you place an order, by default, it's going to have the shipping address as your location, your office location address. But you can add additional ones and save them. By saving them, it allows you then to just select them. Maybe you have, maybe you're listing a property and you want to actually ship materials right to that property. And you can do that as long as somebody's there to receive them. And you can send it there. Perhaps there's a development office or something like that. If we go back and So the shipping address headshots, and this is kind of where that headshot that came in up here for me was right there, because I went in and I saved it. Now, obviously, that's not me. And just making sure you guys realize that if you didn't catch the video part when we started, but that's not me. And so managing headshots. If we go in and we click on headshots, you can have a number of headshots. And my development team, or my design team rather, is they like to play around here. So that's why there's all these other headshots in here. I think one of them likes what did these Power Rangers? I think they like the Power Rangers. But why would you want more than one headshot? Well, sometimes you're going to market a property. Maybe you've got a luxury property, and you've got kind of a more of a high class profile photo or headshot photo that you want to use. And then maybe you've got, like, a more casual, or a family first home, or owner's first home, and it's a little bit more of a casual headshot. You can set one for default so that it always just automatically defaults in, just like that contact information that we were talking about. So in this case, I've got a default here, and actually you can set 2 for default. Some templates will allow a second headshot. One thing you might notice as we're going through here is that you do see some templates with 2 headshots, but we're actually revising those. We're in the process of revising those and moving those to a single headshot, and then making sure that there's a team headshot available for all the products. So it's kind of like a separate template, just allowing for a wider photo for teams. So you may or may not use this default headshot too, but definitely set your default headshot one to automatically pull in. And you'll notice also that there's a few parts where it says high or medium. Our system does take a look at the resolution, so the DPI, the dots per inch, or PPI, pixels per inch, and lets you know if it's kind of falling underneath. For the most part, we're looking at, we'd like to see 200 to 300 DPI. So if anything falls below that, it's going to warn you and just let you know that the quality may not print well. But you have to also think about what size you're printing. A headshot is not that large, so even though it's a small, you might have like a medium resolution, it probably will still look fine. And one thing you can do is you can always print it out on your own, the size that it's going to print on the product. And even though it may not be a print quality, like a production quality press, if it's you, it gives you an idea of what that image may look like. As long as you're not using like a dot matrix printer, then that's not good. Which I still have one of those. So I told you, you're going to learn more about me than you ever wanted to. Didn't need to spend much time on the introduction. Headshots, logos. Most of the products, once we actually get them all tweaked and ready to roll out, will allow for agent or team logos, and you can manage your logos here from your profile. So you can upload those and save them here, and you can actually upload your logos and your headshots when you're placing an order as well. You don't have to come in and do it ahead of time. But obviously you can see where the time savings might be when you come in, and if you do it, set it up ahead of time. Address lists. So anything that we mail that is mailable, you can upload your own address lists. You can search for, generate address lists from our system based on a specific location. And you can do that. It's kind of a radius search. So if we actually click on the manage address lists, we've got here so here's the different ways that you can generate or procure or upload or develop addresses or address lists. So you can upload your own list. If you have an Excel or a CSV file or even a DATA file, it should work. You can upload that into our system. If you've uploaded a mailing list anyplace else, it really works the same way. Your headers, your column headers will try to match your column headers to our column headers. And then if you have any trouble at all, you'll want to reach out to our team and they're going to be able to help you. So, and then just to kind of point out, how would you do that? Let's say you are trying to upload a list, and we can actually click on it and take a look at what happens here. So we've got some supporting information here, and you can actually download kind of a, where is it? You can do, I think, select file. And I think it's right in here. So if you click on this, it's going to take you to another screen, open this up larger, and you can download a template. But any program you have where you're doing your own management of mailing lists should be able to export that for you. Hopefully, you're doing all of that in your CP or NPD Office account. And we're going to talk about that in just a second. But let's say you did, maybe you purchased a list. Maybe you have a list, got a property owner's list from the courthouse or something like that, and you want to upload it in here. And you're having difficulty. You browsed, you found it, you're trying to match that. There's a little live chat button right here. You can also see that live chat button down here in the lower right corner. And then if you go up here, you can also find that as well. You can click on chat. Our client services team, our support center is fantastic. They help people all the time with uploading mail lists. In fact, they help people all the time with a number of things. Our team gets a lot of recognition for the positive attitudes and the quality responses that they're able to give, and the knowledge base that they have. Our support team is in Fort Worth, Texas. It's US based. So 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Central Time. They're available, and you can call if you prefer, or you can click on live chat. And the nice thing about live chat is that it allows you to multitask, obviously, which we're all kind of gotten in the habit of doing. But it also, because you're logged into your system or into your account on Xpressdocs, if you click on live chat from within your account, it gives our team a lot of information right off the bat. It tells us who you are. So they can start off knowing who you are, knowing what order you're working on, knowing what product you're working on, and all of that, and even know where you are in that ordering process. That doesn't mean that you can't also call in and provide that same information. Some people prefer to talk than type it out. My dad would rather talk, all the time. Versus, because it's mostly one finger on each hand is his typing method. But so we've got that information, and they will help out. They're fantastic. So you're uploading a list. Don't worry if it's not working. Give us a yell. Give us a call. If it's after hours or if it's on the weekend, you can still contact us. It'll shoot an email to our team, but we just ask that you give us like a business day roughly to respond back. So if you do it on the weekend, we'll get back to you before the end of the day Monday. If you do it overnight, we'll get back to you before the end of the next business day. So, but you could always, you can mail that email list to us, and we can say, this isn't working, help me please. And somebody will be like, oh, I can do this. And they'll eventually reach back, or they'll, reach back out to you shortly and let you know that it's been uploaded into your site for you. All right, so that's a lot to say about uploading a list. Radius list. Give us a specific address. Tell us how many addresses you want us to find around that list, and we'll generate a list for you. If it's a property you're familiar with, all of these streets and addresses around it should look familiar to you. We'll give you all the different streets that we pulled from. So it is roughly a kind of a circle going out until we hit that number that you told us. Street list. You give us the street name, and then we tell you everything, all the addresses that we have on that street. You can then narrow it down from beginning house number to ending house number. You can narrow it down if you would like to. So, if you've got one street that runs through, it's 12 miles long, that runs through several towns, you obviously don't want all of that. But you can build your list then street by street. Every door direct mail, it's our own proprietary system as far as this goes. It's like the USPS's Every Door Direct in that we're using zip codes and carrier routes, but it's a little bit enhanced. So if you're interested in that and you have more questions, you can always click on this, and it'll give you a chance. It'll give you more information. And most of the places in our system are in our site are like that. If you click on it, you're going to get more information. If you have questions, you can reach out to our client services team. And I encourage you, when we get this open and we get this launched and we send you the go ahead, you'll see that link on your site. Go in, play around with it, get comfortable with it. Call us with any questions. You don't have to be working on an order. You could be, just getting familiar with the site, and a question comes up. That's fine. Give us a yell and we'll answer that question for you. So there's Every Door Direct. There's demographics where you can generate a list based on things like income, household value, or household income, building value, house value, stuff like that. And then this is, you can actually pull in your contact list from your NPD office system where you're keeping that list there. Now, my demo account, pretty as she is, does not have an account on your system. So if I click on this, it's going to tell me that there's nothing found. User does not exist. So what I have is, here's a screenshot of, I had logged in as, I just used somebody's account. And actually, Nikki, I think this is from your account. Kind of thing. So this looks familiar to you as far as these list names. That's because that's why. But what happens is when you click on import CRM, it's gonna go to your account on the CRM site, on your NPD office site. It's going to show you the different lists that are created. Now, however you're setting up your lists, if you're setting contacts and such like that, and you'll notice that I did this earlier today. One list that'll come up will be all contacts. It's just kind of pulling everything that's available for at this moment. And so you could pull in everything, or you can go through and you can kind of take a look at the different ways you've tagged people, and then you can select more than one. I do caution you, if you've got multiple users here though, sometimes, depending on how they're set up, there are times where sometimes they'll pull in the user more than once, or the recipient more than once, and our system will generate two addresses. Then it'll generate two, a postcard or a mailer to the same person twice if they got pulled in that way. So you can always, once you bring them into the system, into Xpressdocs system, you can go through and you can see them. You can click on view all and it'll show you the list that's been integrated into our system. And so hopefully it'll stand out if you've got some oddballs in there. Our site will take your list and it's going to do all of the same certification that it does on any list that we're generating or that you're uploading, meaning it's going to CAS certify. I do not remember what CAS stands for, but what it does is it's based on the United States Postal Service's requirements for how an address needs to be formatted. It'll make sure that it's formatted that way. It may update some of the lists. So like if you have avenue spelled out but incorrectly, our system will just abbreviate it to AVE because that's the way the post office wants it for direct mail. And we'll also put, depending on whether or not you're selecting to have it sent out with the owner's name, with the recipient name, or if you're changing it to having it be current resident or something like that. So if you're sending it and you're having the name indicated, we're going to do the NCOA. We're going to do National Change of Address. The USPS is NCOA, and we'll update that. So if it's going to somebody's specific attention and they have on record that they've moved to a different address, we'll update the address so that they still get it. Okay, so there's that. Now, the other thing is that I know that you're all on mute and everything like that, but if there's a burning question, we're a small enough group that if you have a question, just, you can interrupt me. But you can definitely also, if you want to save questions at the end of our presentation, you can take a look at those too. So let's move that out of there. And that's how you can generate a mail list. And you can do that ahead of time, or you can do it when you're ordering. Just a quick if you upload your own list, there's no additional cost to upload your own list, and there's no additional cost to pull in your list of contacts, obviously. Radius list and street list, it's 5 cents per recipient. And it's you don't pay it ahead of time, you pay it when you place an order and use that list. But once you've used the list, then that list belongs to you. So you don't have to pay for it again. For the Everydoor Direct Mail Elite, there's no additional cost to generate the list. Demographics depends on if you want to have that list available for future use. So you're going to use it for an order. It's like a certain cost for, I think it's 9 cents to create the list and use it one time. Or it's 11 cents, I believe, to create the list, use it for that order, and then save it in your account so that you can use it again in the future. All right, let's go back to the profile, make sure that we haven't missed anything that's in our setup over here. Manage address lists. You can, if you have an account already with the United States Postal Service where you have your own intelligent mail barcode. I have yet to meet anybody that has, but if you did, you could upload it. You'd upload it as a image, and then it would print. We could print it on materials, but we would send it to you. Then we'd ship it to you. Same with the bulk mail permit. If you have your own bulk mail permit, we can print an address and add the bulk mail permit or the intelligent mail barcode. But then what we do is we just ship them to you. We don't deliver them to the United States Postal Service. We ship them to you to take and get them to the distribution United States the Postal Service distribution center based on whatever type of an account you have with them. So it's almost always easier just to let us do the mailing because our system will still give you a fantastic price because it is all mailing bulk. We're even if you do an order for 25 postcards, you're still getting our bulk mail pricing because we are grouping them with all the other orders that are coming in that same day. And so once we've batched them all up and then broken them up and sorted them and everything like that, then we're able to meet those numbers easily as far as the minimum orders go. Credit card information can be saved online. Once you enter your credit card, we're not saving the credit card information. We're actually using our payment vendor to verify the credit card and to authorize it. And then they provide us with a key to use for authorizations later on. We don't save the credit card information. That key is only good for an Xpressdocs order. So even if somebody was able to hack into your account, which is unlikely, they couldn't use that key for anything. So just to make sure that it is kind of a nice thing to be able to just have it there and not have to enter it every time. But I want you to be assured that we treat it with the utmost security and concern. But you know, I know that some people like to add it in there because then they'll have other people place orders for them, assistants or their high school kids to earn food and stuff like that. All right, let's go back to the main page. See, I told you a lot to cover, but it's important stuff, and it's all things that I want to make sure that I point out to you. Okay. We are also working with your company, and we are pulling in listings information on a daily basis. Excuse me. Dry throat. We are pulling in listings information on a daily basis and then associating them with your accounts based on email address and on the user IDs that are part of that data. What that means is that if you have a listing that's been submitted in your MLS or anything where it shows up on your NPD office system or account, it should be available here for you as well. Now, this is where one of those things where that only works if there's an account already set up for you. So again, new agent joins your team. One of the first things you'll want them to do is to actually link over to Xpressdocs so that their account is created. That way, 2 days later when they get their first listing, because everybody gets a listing nowadays, our system will already have the account that we can associate that listing to when we get the data. If for some reason it doesn't, the first time that you link in and you should have listings and it's not showing up, let it refresh overnight and then take a look again the next day. If it's still not there, reach out to us, because that means that we're going to look into it and find out why. And because we obviously want this system to work for you in all ways possible. So, don't wait more than a day after creating your account with Xpressdocs if you expect that you should have some listing information associated with your account. My demo account, what I've done is I've just kind of created some listings. So you'll notice that I've got some duplicate photos here and stuff like that. I did try to pull some properties that were relevant, but the photos, I wasn't. Here's the issue with some of the MLS photos. Sometimes they are not the best resolution. So it depends though. If you're doing a postcard, again, what's the size of the photo? How big is it going to print? Does it, even if it's not the best resolution, it'll probably still look fine if it's on a postcard, because that's not a huge photo. Flyer where it's larger photo, or a brochure where it's 8.5 by 11, then you want to start to pay attention to that. You can always, even though we'll pull photos along with the listing information, doesn't mean that you can't use a different photo when you're placing an order. You can always upload a photo if you believe that you have a better shot or a better quality photo when you're placing an order. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop right into creating an order so that we make sure we have a chance to kind of see that in process. So here's 20538 Hartman Avenue. I don't know if the listing agent is on our site. I just kind of grabbed one at random as far as this information goes. Photos are just kind of stock photos, but you get the idea that it's, it pulls all in information in. And if I click on create marketing materials, it's going to show me items that I can use. And then if I go here, I'm back to my products. And if I go to the postcards, and there will be additional sizes here as we're finishing up creating the cards and creating all the templates. But right now we've got the large cards. So I'm just going to select this first postcard here. And so it's showing me the postcard. It's showing me the back options. And again, it'll be a single agent or it will be a team, which shows a larger photo. So you have your different options here. And if I click on a team, it'll show me what that looks like. So it's a larger photo. So even though it's my account, if I want to do a team card, I can, because I can pull in that information. I do believe that some of you who work with teams, there's actually a team account created. And if you link to Xpressdocs from the team account, then you should be able to save a team photo in that. It'll be a separate profile. So however that works on your system, and then you cross over to our system, it should work the same way. But I'm going to go back up and select this one. And I can add a gloss coating. There is no additional cost for us to add a coating to the front of the postcards. And the reason we do that automatically is because it allows the cards to travel through the USPS sorting machines a lot smoother, less likely to get damaged and such like that. Have you ever gotten a postcard where there's like a white streak on the front? That's where those rubber rollers are. It gets caught and the rollers are turning and it's rubbing off the top of the card. It just means that there's a machine in that area that needs to have some service done. But the gloss coating reduces the chances that that'll happen. It doesn't eliminate it. I mean, it's still possible, but it does reduce it. So we encourage you to leave the gloss coating on. If you really don't like it though, you can take it off. And so up here, you can change your postage method. By default, we always pull in first class. We want to make sure that the information gets out there as quickly as possible, especially if it's a just listed or an open house. You don't want the postcards to be showing up when the dates are no longer relevant. If you prefer, you can switch to standard, and this allows you to save a little bit of money. So sometimes it just depends on what your timing is. And these little eyes in a circle are just additional information. You can always hover over that and see some additional information. And I am going to click on Customize now. When we click Customize, it begins a pending order. And so our system will assign an order number. And that's one of the things there, if you're calling us, that we may ask you for. And so we're asking you for that order number. And you'll see that order ID or order number right up here. You'll also see that since we started with a listing, the name of this order is that listing address. You cannot edit this if you want to make it whatever you want. This does not print any place, but it does show up in your order history and in your pending orders. If you don't actually submit this order, you'll come back and it's kind of like a saved order. So you can find that if you want to name it something to make it stand out. Here's my contact information. I can actually edit that. This is from my profile. I can edit it here and then click to save it as default, and it will update the default information. Location information is pulling in. So this is your location address. It is blocked, but that's your return address for your postcards. And again, we're actually working on making sure that that we have all the information in here the way it should be. This is my demo office. So your office information, if for some reason your office information is incorrect, what are you going to do? Reach out to us. It's like, please, there's no reason, there's no question too small or anything like that we don't want to help you. So at any time during this ordering process or after an order is placed and you're wanting to know status or anything like that, you can reach out to us. We want to help out. So here's my headshot that defaulted in. If I had a second headshot, we're not going to do that. Here's the photos that were part of the listings data. And it pulls in the first three, but it puts the first three in the order because there's 3 photos on this particular product. But it actually did load the rest of the photos that came with us or came from the listings information as well. So it makes it a little bit easier for you to switch out. If you don't want the first 3 that were in the data, you can always select any of the other ones that are here. And then it will drop in whatever information, like the basic information that it can. So it's going to drop in the property address, the property price. If there was a title or a heading for the property, it'll for the listings information, it'll drop it in, and then it'll also bring in the information here, the description. The one thing to keep in mind is that look down here. If your description that's in the listings data is really long, it'll drop it in here. But if you go over the recommended character number, and in this case, we went 85 characters over, it's going to get smaller in order to fit. And it's not that big to begin with because it's a postcard. So you can do some editing then and maybe reduce the number of characters that's going to be on the postcard here. And I encourage you to do that. I also encourage you to print out your proof at 100%, so it's the size of the postcard that you're creating, so you can see how small it's going to be. You know, on our screen, it's one thing. You know, that's small, but it's like, oh, I can read that. Here's the difference between this proof here and then this one down here, which is considered the final proof. This proof is like a quick click, and you can see where things are falling in and if you need to make any changes in your information over here. This is low resolution. I can still click on it, like open it up and such, but it's not a very good, it's just really to kind of for content. Down here, if I generate my final proof down here, what our system is doing is it's creating a PDF file for front and then for back. And it does this on pretty much all of our products, whether it's a brochure, a flyer, postcard, business card, note card. It's the same customization process. It's creating this proof. This is your final proof. It's a PDF. You can download it. It will have the watermark proof on it, and it is and it's smaller. It's not a full size, high resolution print file. But here's the deal. We are creating the print file in the background for you at the same exact time. This is your quality assurance. This is how you determine what it's going to look like when it prints. So if anything is incorrect on here, you want to make sure that you catch it. Because once you actually submit your order to us for production, it is an automated system. And we can't cancel the order and we can't make any changes to the order because it is going into an automated system and batching with other orders that are being placed at the same exact time. And so the print files are being laid out, and we wouldn't be able to go in and actually pull out just your order because it may be printing with a whole bunch of other orders based on, especially with mailing, because it's based on the recipient addresses and such like that. So really make sure you take a look at these proofs. You can download each one as a PDF, which is nice because maybe you've got a seller that's a very involved seller, and you all know what I'm talking about. But they want to make sure they see everything that goes out. So you can download a PDF and email it to them, and they can give you their 2 cents on it and everything like that. So it just allows you to it also allows you to print it a little bit easier too. It's easier to download a PDF and print it than it is to try to save an image and all that. But at the same time, we're creating this print file in the background. Based on this proof. So when you go through this, everything that you select, as long as if it is correct, you'll acknowledge that. A couple of things about these acknowledgements. Mostly it's just saying, I have looked at it and I understand that it's going to print just like this. We also have one here where it's just like, there are some offices that are still not being, where people are still working from home. So it's just saying that you would understand that if the office is closed and we can't deliver the package and it ends up getting shipped back to us because the office was closed, it would be your responsibility for us to reship it out, meaning for payment. And then this would be your first clue to take a look at the text up here. Sometimes our system has a minimum text size that we always warn about. And so we just ask you to take a look at it. There's several areas here where it's coming up and showing that the font size has dropped below what our recommendation is. In one instance, that's the disclaimer here. Well, that's okay. Disclaimers can be tiny. Nobody reads those anyway. But some of the other things, you just want to make sure that you actually take a look at it. I think one of them is going to be the return address. Again, that's okay. But this text has kind of gotten small too. So if you go up here then and edit this, it'll just ask you to recreate your proofs for it. So, and because I actually clicked up in that upper area, it's going to make me regenerate that proof. Our system is very careful. We understand that we want to make sure it's so easy to miss something that we don't want to assist you in missing something. So we want to assist you in finding anything that might be incorrect. So you generate that proof again. And while we're waiting for that to happen, I can just, I can take a moment here and say, are there any questions right now? We've got about 15 minutes left, and I want to make sure that if there's any questions right now, I can definitely take a moment or two to answer those. Cool. All right. You'll think of a bunch after we're all done. It always happens that way. Continue on here. And so here's where we can generate our list. We can pull our lists in. If I click on select or create an address list, here's all those options that we saw when we were also looking at our profile and how we could create lists. You can have more than one list per order. So if you created a list, but then also added on a personal list and then added on another list, you can attach as many lists as you want to an order. Our system will tally them up and it'll give you a pricing over here. You don't have to have these mailed out. You can ship them to yourself. You can change the mailing class here again. Pickup won't be an option. My demo account is stationed in Fort Worth, so it allows that. And I just had a thought, but I lost my train of thought, I guess is what I meant to say. So we can continue on from here. Because I did select mail, it says that I need to actually select a list. So I'll pick this list. And now I can proceed to checkout. when it goes, and I'm not going to actually check out because I don't want to really print this and have it show up in that neighborhood and people wondering what's going on. So that's a postcard mailing. That was really fast. I went through it very, very quickly. So obviously, as you're working through your first orders, you may have questions, and please do reach out to our client services team. Another thing that we're also working on, and it will work very similar to starting an order with My Listings. Now, one thing I should mention is that you don't have to start from a listing to begin an order. You could go in here and go directly to the postcard that you want to order, and it will allow you to do everything that we did. It just, when you get into that build page, the customization page, it won't default any information in except your information, your headshot and your contact information. So you'll have to enter the property information, upload the photos and stuff like that. So maybe you are working with somebody and the listing is actually in somebody else's name, or they're the primary. And so in our system, that listing may be associated with somebody else, but you still want to do an order. You want to do maybe you're going to do an open house and you want to have a flyer available. So you can still create that product. You can still, just pull in. You'll have to grab photos from either from that other agent or have them send it to you, or if you've got access to central photo area, whatever, you can upload the photos. So you can create orders without that. We are also going to implement a program called APM. APM is Automated Property Marketing. And so our system is monitoring the listings information that's coming through, the listings data. And if there is a new listing that shows up in that data, our system will create pretty much a postcard order or a flyer order or both, and notify you that we saw that there's a new listing. We've started these 2 orders and created the proofs and everything for you, even generated a mail list, and the mail list will be a radius list around that address, which you can use, or everything that we put together is editable, and it will not automatically be ordered unless you submit it. So that's the one thing to always remember, is that we're not doing anything, we're not doing something that's going to cost you money without you choosing to do so. But it's an automated thing, and then it kind of reminds you. We'll send you an email and explain that, and then here's kind of what email looks like. Give me a second here. So it'll come to you. It'll come from Xpressdocs. So no reply at xpressdocs.com or Xpressdocs. You'll want to make sure that you whitelist that. Xpressdocs.com, I believe, has been as a domain has been whitelisted by your company, but you'll also want to make sure that you save that in your contacts so that you always get these emails. And so we'll send you, it'll just explain to you, kind of what's going on. We'll say this new listing has shown up, marketing materials to help you promote your new listing. And then you can click on Get Started. And when you click on Get Started, because you already have an account in our system, it will take you into that account and directly into this order, this automated property marketing order. So you'll be able to then go through and look at the postcards and flyers and brochures that have been automatically set up for you. And then you can choose or to use them or not use them. It's totally up to you. But hopefully what we're doing is we're making it a little bit easier. We've all got so much stuff going on nowadays that this kind of gives you a trigger to do that. There's a question as far as cost per piece, and it depends a little bit on what it is you're ordering. And so if I go back here to where I first selected this postcard, so if I click on this, I know what I did. Let's go back here. And let's just say this is our extra large postcard. And pricing, see, so this is our new system, and pricing used to be right over here. And I am trying to remember, I actually have to get back to you. This is this update kind of just came through over the weekend. And so looking for I'm used to seeing the pricing in a little pop-up over here. and I know that there is a place, someplace to put it. So I'll have to, that's a really good question. Normally it's right in here. And obviously at the end of the order, you're going to be able to see the, the price because that's what we're expecting you to pay. So if I go up here and I go to online resources, let's see if pricing is up in here. So you can always kind of come here and you'll see like our overall pricing. And it's going to do a little pop-up and it'll kind of go through and share this information here with you. So it'll kind of list everything out, not necessarily template by template, but based on the product that you're ordering. So that was, again, just to kind of remind you of how I got there. I went to my little question mark in the upper part, and then I went down to online resources. And since we're here, the other thing I'll point out is that right now, the only thing under online resources is the pricing. We will also have kind of a facts sheet, a frequently asked question sheet, and then a how to place your order document in this area as well, once we have everything up and running, so that you have that information available to kind of go back. We can also, I'll let your team know that we can, this recording, we can link to here as well, if that would be beneficial. Okay, so because I am a firm believer in, not overstaying my welcome, I want to make sure that if anything, we're going to finish up a little bit early. But right now is the time for questions. So, if we've got 5, 6, 7 minutes, so it is, please, if you've got questions or if I can clarify something that I said that wasn't making sense, please unmute and have at it. When will it be available? It's a good question. We are within in about 2 weeks is our plan to roll this out or to finish up. And then, so I guess I don't want to promise anything because I know that we also want to make sure that we run it past, that everything gets approved and such like that. So, so we're about 2 weeks out from the final presentation to your marketing team for approval. I guess I'll say it that way.
There's a question that I just got. It's asking, can we completely personalize a postcard not using a listing? An example would be like a note of appreciation to past buyers and sellers. Yeah.
Down here where it's like personal marketing. Well, I guess I should say your company, your team is working to add a number of templates here, and there'll be more added as we go on. So, we have like announcement postcards. So there's prospecting and farming cards. But then down here is personal marketing as well. Personal marketing is Xpressdocs kind of global line of materials. And this is where you can kind of go and a lot of information, a lot of options available here. And so this lets you then kind of go through, and this is your stay in touch. This is how you can reach out and send your mail list a quick fallback postcard. I wish somebody would have sent me that because I thought it was last night or this weekend, but it's not. It's next weekend. It was Halloween last year. So things like that, and hopefully this would be something where this may work for what you're asking about. The other thing is that as you come up with ideas of marketing material that you think other agents would use, make sure to pass those along to your team, to your marketing contacts, because they may agree with you and they may want to set something up and make it a template on our site so that anybody can go in and place that order. Great. Other questions? Any other thoughts, concerns? All right. We will have like a first time buying promotion that will get out to you as well. Some kind of promo code or percentage off or dollar amount off. So watch for that as well. That'll come out from your company. And then I'm excited to launch this with you and excited to work with you to get going on it and to have, I hope that it's going to make it a lot easier for you to take care of some things. and gain back some time that you might be using to do this stuff otherwise.
Thank you so much for your time today, Eric. And as always, guys, if you have any questions that you think of, like Eric mentioned, sometimes after we get time to process through the information, that's when those questions arise. Feel free to reach out to Stacy or myself. If we don't know the answer, we'll certainly find the answer out for you. There will also be an additional training on this tomorrow. I'm pretty certain it'll go over about the same thing that it went over today. So if you wanted just to join in tomorrow, you're more than welcome to. Otherwise, again, I always like to honor your time, as Eric mentioned, and let you guys go for the day. So thank you so much for joining. And we'll see you next time.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Eric, so much for your time this morning. You take care. Yeah.